Jago. The Tibetan monk that bears an incredible resemblance to a ninja is back, and he's my newest redesign, so let's see what I got this time. Alright, so last year I got requested to do a redesign for Jago from Killer Instinct. KI is such a good franchise, probably one of the most underrated fighting game series of all time, and that's saying something. As a kid that got caught up in the Mortal Kombat Street Fighter phase of arcades, Killer Instinct just seemed like the perfect blend of the two, just with insane and wilder combos. Watching people pull off a 99 hitter was absolutely insane when you consider that a 10 hit was a feat in most fighting games. When I first saw Jago, he instantly became a favorite of mine. Not like I'm a big fan of ninjas or anything, but he had such a cool design considering on paper it really shouldn't be. That hair and that belly shirt should never be considered cool whatsoever, but somehow for whatever reason it works for Jago. When KI3, I'm sorry, it just makes it easier to call the 2013 game that. When KI3 was announced, I remember not being the biggest fan of Jago's redesign at first sight, just mostly because of how different it looked compared to the original, but I now love it. It's grown on me, but especially after seeing the sheer amount of detail that went into that design. The tiger tattoo specifically is crazy to me. So now I'm going to try the difficult task of giving Jago a new design that is on par with the originals and the remake. So for starters, I didn't want Jago to have the same hairstyle as he did in the previous games. I wasn't the biggest fan of his hair in KI3. The original I felt like was good enough. I decided on shorter hair, as he always has shorter hair anyways, but hair that would partially cover up his face. For his upper body, I knew I couldn't leave him shirtless again. I feel like the way they handled it in KI3 was very well done, but I wasn't going to give him the belly top again, that's not happening. So I was trying to think of a top that would fit him as a warrior without being too much. I ended up settling on something closer to Goken in Street Fighter, or maybe even a Liu Kang alternate in the past. I can't really wrap my head around which game, maybe X. I also really wanted him to have tethered up clothes. The ripped up look from KI 1 and 2 I felt needed a comeback. I did that on his upper body and his pants, just to make it seem like he's been in a lot of battles and doing a lot of training over time. I also wanted gold tigers on his clothes somewhere too, but I couldn't figure out where I wanted to put him at first, so I settled on his knee pads and around his belt. I ended up only giving him one because, if most of you know this, watch me do this for a while, I love a good asymmetrical design. The armbands was also added just to keep his arms from looking completely bare outside of his gloves. Once I started to color him, I knew what pieces I needed blue and where I wanted my gold pieces at, but I didn't account for the way that his upper body piece would look in a whole, especially the two straps that I have on the sides of him, so that took some time to figure out. The reds was just way too much to me, and any other color I used just didn't fit. I settled on the black as that was the only color that didn't really take away from the design when I did it. Not gonna lie, this design started to look a little funky after a while. It looked like instead of a complete redesign like his KI3 look, it instead looks like an updated version of his KI1, or more specifically his KI2 design, which by the way is my personal favorite. By the end, I found myself tinkering with little things that I could, especially with the colors, to see what I could get away with. I did give him his tats back, which that was cool. But I tried playing around with other colors just to see what I could do. I even tried to give Jago a dead eye just to see what it would look like. But in the end, when all was said and done, I ended up with this Jago redesign. I'll let you guys be the judge on how it looks compared to his past ones, the KI 1, 2, and 3 looks. But in any event, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Leave a design request if you've got one. Just try to limit it around 2 or 3 because these are really starting to pile up on me, being honest. And as always, you all have a good one, and I'm out.